So this short film explains what the Living Alone with Dementia research project is about and what we found out. So we need to start with a quick disclaimer. This project was funded by the National Institute for Health and Care Research, NIHR, and the views expressed are those of the project team and not to the NIHR or the Department for Health and Social Care. So we did this project because some people with dementia are living on their own without informal support, and their views are often excluded from research. We wanted to find out what would support them and then work with them and practitioners and commissioners and providers to develop some useful resources. To start with, it's really important to recognise that there are benefits to living on your own when you have dementia, and many people successfully do this for a long time. So the report that's showing on the screen there is another piece of research that was led with people with dementia by themselves about this. So please do go and look at that one too. For our research that we're talking about here, this is the definition that we used. So people with dementia who live on their own and who are managing without informal support to contact and navigate services. Okay, so they might have somebody helping them to put the bins out or do the shopping, but they haven't got someone helping them do that navigation of services. So there were 4 work packages in this project. The first was an audit of services in 2 regions in England. We interviewed people with dementia who live on their own and don't have informal support themselves. We did case studies in 4 services providing support to people with dementia, and we did workshops to co-create some of the resources that we'll share with you. So from our audit of services in 2 regions in England, we found that awareness of this population was really limited. So none of the areas collected information about how many people with dementia lived alone without informal care in their area. Only 2 local authorities had specific services for this group. These offered additional support or a different pathway, and some services for people with dementia, including some memory cafes, excluded people who didn't have a carer. We also interviewed 22 people with dementia who lived alone without informal care. They had a range of family situations. Some had input from social care and some didn't. Overall, we found that navigating complex and messy systems by yourself is really hard when you have dementia. And our main findings from people with dementia themselves fall into 5 themes that I'll go through now. So not everyone was ready for support immediately after diagnosis. But for people without a carer, it wasn't always obvious where to go back for information later on. It could take people a while to find the right group or service to go to when they were navigating things by themselves. Travel issues and the timing of sessions could make groups inaccessible when people were travelling by themselves. Some groups, as we said before, excluded people without a carer. Even if there was some flexibility in that, if a website said people needed to bring a carer, that would put people off. People got different things out of the different groups that they went to, but emotional support was really important for this group of people because they're living on their own, don't have regular family contact. Other people with dementia were a really, really good source of support. People had different sizes of network around them. Building networks wasn't easy for everyone though. Providers could sometimes facilitate that relationship building by putting people in touch with others in similar situations, and people had found that quite helpful. Support could stop for many reasons though. People's neighbours could fall ill or have their own family to look after. There could be a lack of continuity in groups and services, which was often related to funding or the availability of volunteers. And then it could be hard for someone without a carer to find somewhere else to go. Even when people with dementia had a lot of support around them, those other people often didn't know each other, and so networks could be quite disconnected. So we looked at case studies of 4 services offering support for people with dementia, in some cases quite specifically this group, other cases more general. They all talked about the importance of being flexible and person-centred, which is really important for everyone, but particularly when the person with dementia is navigating things by themselves. Building relationships was really, really important, getting to know people, building trust over time, even if it was just checking in every few weeks to start with. Everyone mentioned supportive referrals. not just referring, but putting someone in touch with a named person, perhaps going with them to an appointment, not discharging until the other service was up and running, letting people come back when they needed to in the original service. However, these services could all be really precarious as well, potentially. They were often small teams dealing with an increasing demand for their service and sometimes with uncertain funding arrangements. So from these findings, we produced a series of guides and videos for people with and for people with dementia, for commissioners, providers and practitioners. There's a short video about these as part of the training resource, and you can access them all on our website. So the implications of this research are that if services work for people with dementia who live on their own without an informal carer, they're likely to work for other people with dementia as well. Regular contact, a variety of services, ongoing and widespread communication, practical help, planning ahead, and facilitating access to other services all can really help. Emotional support is really important for this group, and other people with dementia could be a good source of support. And practitioners and providers can be really proactive in helping build those supportive relationships around people. So you can find out more and access all of our resources on our website at livingalonewithdementia.co.uk, or feel free to email me as well on j.brooks@shu.ac.uk.